Welcome back to the cryptowrld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, Bitcoin is still forming this new pattern in the short term, while Ethereum is on the edge of potentially breaking to the downside, which I'll talk about later in the video, so make sure to watch to the end. First of all, just giving you a really quick update here on the 4-day Bitcoin chart, and right now the price of Bitcoin has still completed the formation phase for this giant cup and handle pattern. But once again, as I've said recently on the channel, we still have not confirmed this pattern, because in order to confirm this pattern and actually activate the bullish price targets, we would need to see a confirmed breakout with ideally a weekly candle close well above this resistance, which is sitting at approximately 31,000. So at least as of right now, we have not yet seen a strong confirmed breakout above this resistance, which means as of right now, this pattern is not currently in play. But with that being said, technically speaking, we're still within this larger multi-month long bullish trend. If you're simply taking a look at the significant higher lows and higher highs. And on top of that, if you're looking at the super trend indicator, this is still currently sitting in the green, indicating a larger bullish trend here on the 4-day time frame, which is obviously the complete opposite to what we saw during all of 2022, where this indicator remained in the red throughout all of 2022 until the end of that bear market. And now, if you're taking a look at the daily Bitcoin chart, once again, the price of Bitcoin is still running into this important resistance, which I have here as a price range in between around 30,000 to 31,000. And on top of that, obviously, we still have this bearish divergence currently playing out on the daily Bitcoin chart, because we did confirm previous higher highs in the price action, while also confirming lower highs in the daily Bitcoin RSI, which simply means we're due to see reduced bullish momentum in the short term, which means I would be expecting either some choppy sideways price action or potentially a bit more of a slight pullback in the short term, which is exactly what we've seen over the last 1 week or so. And considering the fact that this bearish divergence is still currently active, because we're still seeing the RSI trend to the downsides, and obviously we have not confirmed any new high in the price action since this bearish divergence confirmed. So considering that fact, I would continue to expect this bearish divergence to continue to play out for at least the next 1 to 2 days, just talking about the short term here. And on top of that, as I've also said recently on the channel, if you're looking at the daily Bitcoin MACD, this is still currently looking more bearish than bullish, at least for now. But with that being said, it's not showing as much momentum compared to some of these previous moves, which basically means we should not necessarily expect a massive crash in the price of Bitcoin. And instead, like I've said over the last few days, we're likely going to see either some choppy sideways price action or potentially a slight pullback, because we are technically looking slightly more bearish than bullish when you're talking about the short term. And now, while this short term pause from the larger bullish trend continues to play out, technically this is helping to reset the daily Bitcoin RSI back down towards more neutral levels from those overbought territories that we saw a few weeks ago. And so what this essentially means is that right now we technically have more room to the upside compared to a few weeks ago when the RSI was overbought, because basically when the daily RSI reaches into overbought territories, that usually means we have somewhat limited room to the upside, at least in the short term, and we do to see some sort of short-term cool-off because the price is overheated, and these cool-offs can happen in the form of either sideways price action or potentially some bearish price action like what we saw back here. And so once again, now that we've seen a lot of choppy sideways price action cooling off from those overbought territories a few weeks ago, this has helped to cool off the RSI, basically reset the RSI, giving us more room to the upside for potentially the next leg to the upside in the larger bullish trend. But remember, that only really happens if we first confirm a breakout above this strong resistance, which as of right now, we have not yet seen. But if we do eventually see that happen, if we do confirm a strong breakout above around 31,000 approximately, then in that case, next I'll be looking towards around 37,000 based on these important Fibonacci extensions. And on top of that, another reason as to why I would potentially be looking towards 37,000 next if we first see a confirmed confirmed breakout is due to a possible bullish flag pattern still currently forming here on the 8-hour time frame. But with that being said, as of right now, this potential bullish flag pattern is not yet confirmed, because once again, in order to confirm this pattern, we need to see, first of all, a bounce from this support and then a confirmed breakout above this resistance. But right now, the price of Bitcoin is currently running into this important support, sitting at around 29.8k to 29.9k. And if we actually see a confirmed break well below that support level here on the 8-hour chart, and ideally with a daily candle close back below around 29.9k approximately, then in that case, that would actually help to invalidate the formation phase for this bullish flag pattern, which would mean we have no bullish flag pattern at all if we see a strong confirmed break to the downside here. And in fact, in that case, if we do break this support, not only would we be invalidating this bullish flag pattern, we would also potentially be activating a new bearish flag pattern here on the 2-hour Bitcoin chart. But once again, this only confirms if we see a confirmed break below this support line, which here on the 2-hour chart I have sitting at around 29.7k. So basically, if we see a break below 29.7k here on the 2-hour Bitcoin chart, then that would set up a technical price target for this bearish flag pattern at approximately 28,500. So if the price of Bitcoin breaks that support level, then from that support level to that price target, that's nearly a 4% move to the downside, which could be coming next if we first see a confirmed break to the downside. So essentially here in the imminent short term, while the price of Bitcoin is still holding above this short-term support, we're basically in no man's land. We're looking relatively neutral in the short term, and we're just waiting for a new confirmation signal, like for example, a break below support or above this resistance, in order to flip much more bullish or much more bearish again in the shorter term. But once again, as of right now, all of this is still currently occurring within a much larger bullish trend here on the larger timeframes. But anyway, now getting into the Ethereum part of this video, this is on the daily ETH to US dollar chart, and right now the price of ETH is potentially breaking below this ascending line of support, which is sitting at approximately 1890. But as of right now, we have not really seen a daily candle close well below 1890, which means at least for now, this ascending line of support is still currently intact. But if we see a break to the downside, then the next significant support on the daily time frame is this price range sitting in between 1770 to 1820. And now, in case we actually see a bounce here, the next important resistance to the upside is still sitting at around $2,000 approximately. And as for the daily Ethereum price oscillators, as of right now, these are still looking relatively neutral, at least in the shorter term, because first of all, the RSI is essentially chopping around sideways, while the MACD is also doing the same thing, chopping around sideways, showing very low momentum in the short term. So like I've said over the last few days, I would not really be expecting a significant movement in the imminent short term, and instead we're still likely going to see a relatively mild price action in the short term, talking about the next 1 to 2 days or so. And now if you're zooming into the 8-hour ETH to US dollar chart, as we can see right here, the price of ETH is potentially breaking below this ascending line of support once again at approximately 1890. And in fact, what I've said over the last few days is that we're likely going to see an exit from this ascending parallel channel by simply seeing choppy sideways price action, which so far is holding to be true, because once again, as I just mentioned, we have very low momentum in the short term, which means potentially some more choppy sideways price action. And because this is an ascending line of support, obviously if we continue chopping around sideways in the short term, this will simply exit the ascending parallel channel that way. And in that case, if we actually see a further confirmed break below this ascending line of support, then in that case, looking at the next support levels based on the Fibonacci retracement tool from this low at around 1620 up to this swing high, we have the 38.2% Fibonacci level of support sitting at around 1870. But if that support level does not hold up, then the next support would be this 50% retracement level at around 1820 to 1830, and below that we have the golden pocket area of support in between around 1760 to 1770. And as for shorter term resistance, we have this level sitting at around 1930, which was also previous resistance back here. And of course, we still have that ascending line of resistance up here, once again sitting just above $2,000. And now, if you want to know how to maximize your profits in crypto, no matter if the price is going to the upside, to the downside, or simply chopping around sideways like it is right now, then make sure to watch these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how to make money if the price is bullish or bearish using AI, and the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from a choppy sideways price range. But anyway, that's everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.